Hello friends, are you one of those people who, when you see any engineering construction, unknowingly raises the question of how it is possible? And how was it made? And if you've been in the company of those curious people, you've probably seen giant bridges on the river or in the ocean, so the question in your mind is how they're made. And watch today's full video to satisfy your curious mind. Because in today's episode of Mystical Scene we are going to see how these bridges are built over hundreds of challenges across rivers and deep seas. When you see that, the question will arise in your mind once again that how this engineering is possible. So welcome to another new episode of Mystical Scene. Friends, the bridge, how essential it is to our modern world, cannot be overstated. This bridge connects from one town to another, from one village to another. As a result, we can travel from one place to another very easily and quickly. It is possible to transport goods with these bridges at a very low cost, as it is quite expensive to transport goods by water. There are many bridges in our world which are famous for one reason or another. Which bridge is famous for its history? Which bridge is famous for its unprecedented engineering? Which is famous for its length? And to build all these bridges, you need all the construction and equipment that you can't even imagine without seeing. Friends, we see a lot of bridges, which look a lot like this, and their construction is not very complicated. It became difficult to build bridges in the deep flowing river, because these pillars of a bridge weighing thousands of tons have to be borne. And these pillars have to be placed on the ground. But placing pillars in the ground underwater hundreds of feet deep is really challenging. And to build it requires very skilled morale and rocket science. Some of the most commonly seen bridges are the bill bridge, the suspension bridge, and the arch bridge. And to build the foundations of these bridges across the river, engineers have to go through some very complicated process. The greater the depth of the water, the more difficult the challenge becomes for the engineers. To lay the foundation for a bridge over a flowing river, engineers first had to build a structure. And to build this structure, the engineers have to add some dimensions, and that is the maximum and minimum depth of water in the river, the speed of the water in the river, the nature of the soil at the bottom of the river, what the weight of the bridge will be, and the weight of the vehicles that will be able to move over the bridge, are all very carefully calculated by the engineers. Then the engineers have to make this thing called copper dam. Copper dams are sometimes round in shape and sometimes quadrangular in shape for pillars. Now the question that may come to your mind is, how is copper dam made? To make it, one has to first pick up a structure of tall steel. As I said before, it can be round or quadrangular. It is then brought to the surface of the water, and with heavy equipment it is slowly placed in the water. And then it becomes water resistant properly. Then all the water is pumped out of it. And then in the middle of this structure such a waterless dry place is made, and then the work of placing pillars is started here. However, in order to install pillars of all types of bridges in this manner, it is not possible to start the initial activities. It is not possible to place pillars on the sea floor with this structure. In order to build a bridge in the deep sea, engineers first have to find a place at the bottom of the sea. Then you have to make a hole with an excavator, and then you have to present a copper dam here. Then all the water is taken out of it and a huge structure is built to place the pillars with a mixture of cement and concrete. Then a few pillars were placed there. And these huge cement concrete blocks are built somewhere far away. And from there the structure is brought to the bridge by ship. Then some of the larger blocks from the structure are lifted up a bit, and then the bridge work has to be completed with these step-by-step concrete blocks. When building bridges, engineers sometimes have to face such situations, then there is no other way but to build floating copper dam. And see how these floating copper dams are moved from one place to another. And then they have to be rotated and placed in water. And it is a very timely process, also very dangerous. And all the engineers and workers who do these jobs are professionals from their respective places. That is why they complete such a complex process very easily. There are some bridges in our world that cost billions of dollars to build. You must now understand why it costs so much to build a bridge. But when unskilled manpower builds bridges, the results are somewhat dire. And to avoid such accidents, the bridge has to be built with skilled manpower and skilled engineers. If you like the video, you can like, comment and share, and if you like watching such mystery thriller uncommon interesting video, subscribe to the Mystical Scene channel now, and press the bell icon next to it. See you in the next new episode. I'll be fine until then. Thank you so much.